And this is really, there is no presentation here. This is just a discussion. So Jim and I are just going to have a discussion, and hopefully you guys will help us. So please ask your questions on the side, and we will try to ask as many of them as we can. And of course, Jim will give us as many answers as he can within his limitations. So Jim is with Meta, Facebook. And I guess, before we start, Jim, would you like to give a kind of a brief introduction about you yourself and kind of your objectives and your work at Meta, at Facebook?
Yes, first I want to thank Kasia to have me as a panelist. It's really my honor to have a panel discussion with Kasia. So my name is Jim, and then I work for Meta, and we are part of a research organization. And I'm a scientist, so I have been doing this flexible electronic design and related manufacturing for many years. So I'm here really happy to share some of my insight for this general trend of printed electronics and how we should move forward, how we should solve the challenges I'm seeing. Yeah, this will be my background.
Great. So Jim, I guess the first question is, what are the opportunities you see for this field of printed hybrid electronics?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I can head to several directions. So we actually see the printed electronics is a really good complement to traditional electronics, but we are facing some challenges between performance and form factor. For example, we know the printed electronics can directly print on 3D form factor, but it's not necessarily as good as the traditional copper or other metal. This is the challenge we face. Another thing is the design. So we kind of already get used to layer 2D design environment, but how can we really have some intuitive 3D design environment? We're able to envision the target use cases. We're directly designed for it and directly simulate for it. There's still the challenge. Another thing is the scalability, is that we know that printing, for example, aerosol jet or kind of inkjet can do a lot of high variety of printing with a small volume. But when it comes to the cost, actually, sometimes it's a bit easier to just do the high volume and also easier to manufacture, just like traditional manufacturing. And one final thing I see the benefit is that actually printing is much more environmentally friendly because it uses less energy, wastes less energy, and also it can cause less pollution to the environment. But the problem is still that can we actually mix and match different material and make it printable and make it as good as a typical traditional electronics? So those are all kind of opportunity, also change at the same time. Yeah, from my point of view.
Yeah. So I mean, I know you can't go into details on this, but can you give us some hints about at least how Facebook views this technology toolkit?
Right. Since I cannot comment in detail, the thing we see is that it's a good opportunity we can use in printing. We can use the various additive manufacturing techniques to complement, as I mentioned, to traditional PCB or traditional assembly technique. But the challenge is still that can we really meet our performance target? Can we really kind of pursue the form factor? At the same time, we're able to meet our perfect spectrum. Whatever your wearable is, you can do whatever wearable, like the glove or anything you can wear, or anything you want to do. That is still the challenge for us. Yeah.
Are you able to speak a little bit more about your requirements? So let's say, do you need the electronics to be stretchable or conformable? Do you need them to be on very low cost substrates, or do you have like very specific resolution printing requirements? Just generally, can you tell us more about your requirements from the industry?
Yes, happy to. So for example, from printing, we see a lot of opportunity from different high throughput printing. For example, screen printing, you can print high throughput with less resolution. And also we see opportunity using aerosol jet printing with a high resolution to even print on some very small features. But we are seeing also how do we combine both? How do we mix and match both? And to make it feasible. So since I cannot comment detail the application, but we see this thing could be possible toward this kind of target use cases.
Yeah, so you envision a system where you have like traditional screen printing on a flexible substrate, and then you top that up with.
Right. I'll talk about mix and match. I would say that can we actually combine? So for example, if you have everything you can have on your table, but how do you make it feasible? How do you pick and choose the right technology and then make it make a technology sense and make a form factor sense and also make a cost sense, right? Yeah. So this is all the challenging problem we have. Yeah.
And again, I don't know how much detail you can go into, but will you become, kind of a manufacturer yourself, or is it, of your components, or do you see that there is enough capability out there with our one-stop shops or solution